Evening, everyone. We're very fortunate to have Carrie Krueger with us tonight. Carrie is the president of O.M. International Sideband Society. And she's with us, joining us from Wisconsin tonight. She's good enough to, to give up some time tonight to tell you about this organization, this network that started in 1981. And I'm kind of curious to find out how it started, how it's kept continuing, what it offers, how to use it, and everything that she can fill up 5 minutes with. No, I think she'll go longer. I know right now that some of you already are familiar with it because you're members. So with that, I'm going to say, Carrie, thank you for being here. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Excellent. Well, thanks everybody for inviting me. I appreciate the invitation. I know that I spoke earlier with Daniel, and he's an O.M.I.S. member. Who else is an O.M.I.S. member?
Who else knows about O.M.I.S.?
Does anybody else know about O.M.I.S.?
No? They're just
Okay.
intrigued.
All right.
Okay.
How many of you enjoy HF? I know a lot of people like to do mobiling, but if you enjoy to get around on HF, worked all states, that kind of thing, anybody enjoy that?
Not yet.
Dave does? Okay.
Yeah.
What O.M.I.S. is an organization that started in 1981 by a group of people who had this little vision of starting a little side story. Our actual founder is no longer a member. Shortly after the group got started and got on their feet, how they did it was the first 100 members that joined, if they were men, that's how they were issued a number. Any women that joined that first beginning of the organization started their numbers over 100. So every time somebody joins the group, they are given their own unique O.M.I.S. number that carries with them through the history of the club and just keeps going with them and never expires and none of that kind of stuff. And so the original founder actually got himself in a little hot water a few years after the organization got started. He took some money from the club and kind of tapped him out, and it was just about ready to fold. But a group of the original members got together and made some tough decisions, of course, and they took the number away from the old charter member number 1, and then they all pitched in their own money to continue the club and keep it back on its feet and keep it. And of course, those hardworking volunteers started out with some nets on 40 meters, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew since then. And so the organizations, of course, completely run with volunteers that give their time to host nets for our organization. And we are currently now, I'm proud to say, we are near 14,500 members. I joined O.M.I.S. as a member in 2012 when I upgraded to my general class license. My dad was a longtime O.M.I.S. member. His number was 2313, and I am 8420. So that tells you the years gap between when he joined and when I did. But I joined in 2012 at 8420, and in my short time with this organization in 10 years, we have grown nearly double in size. So it took us 30 years to get to 8,000. It's taken us 10 years to get to almost 15,000. So that's pretty impressive. We host nets on all the bands. Every day of the week, we host nets on 20, 40, and 80 meters. And then on the weekends, we host 10, 12, 15, 17, 20, 40, late 40, and 80, 160 meter nets. And we also host a late 80 and 160 run during daylight savings time. When that ends, then we do that through the winter months. And we cut it off right at that. So we'll be starting up the last weekend here in October with 160 and late 80, and that will run until the first weekend in April. And then we'll shut that down for the summer. We also host 12 meter nets on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then of course we run all of the nets on every federal holiday. So we're out there quite a bit. We don't have any CW nets. This is primarily a single sideband organization, and we have tons of our own awards that people can work towards by working other members on the nets. But to be honest, I think a lot of people, we have a lot of awards paper chasers, but a lot of people like to hang out on the net just to get to know everybody else. We run those with Netlogger. If anybody's familiar with an organization called Netlogger, it's a logging program, and lots of net organizations use them to help facilitate the net, and it just shows where everybody is throughout the world that's checked into said nets. And you can follow along, and then they have a chat center that's where the real action is, because while the net is in progress and people are waiting for their turns, they're visiting and keeping up on the AIM message center where they can visit with each other. And how you join, a lot of people ask how you join this organization. You only have to work 2 people during any scheduled O.M.I.S. net, and you collect their unique O.M.I.S. number, and then you exchange signal reports with that member, and then you turn that information in on the application on our website with a $10 fee, and that's a one-time membership fee, and then you'll be member, and you can participate for all awards, be a net control, serve on the board, however busy or little busy station to get started in there. It's a great group of people. Not to say every organization has bumps in the road. That's usually how that goes. But for the most part, everything's really smooth, and it's a great place. So that's a little bit about O.M.I.S. Dave, I think I kept that to 5 minutes, but if you have more questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen for a second, and Carrie's going to explain what you're looking at. Okay, are you ready, Carrie? I'm going to surprise you.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, what you are looking at there is our net check-in list. And so this is a program called Netlogger. Netlogger, actually, one of the creators and founders of Netlogger is actually our club webmaster, John Dean. His call sign is K0JDD. And what this is the net control will open up a net, and they will be listed on all the nets will be listed on Netlogger, and you can select which net you would like. So this is the OM International Sideband Society Monday evening net, hosted by Whiskey 7 Delta Kilo Echo, and he will show in slot number 1. And then, as you'll see, all of the people that are checked into that net are listed underneath him, and they just kind of do a random call for check-ins, and they will list all of them. It'll show where they are in the country, their unique O.M.I.S. number, any special information about them in the remarks column. Usually that's going to be when people are looking for something special. If they're looking for 49 or 50, if they are running QRP, if they are a unique DX station, that information would be in the remarks. And then in the QSL information, that shows a little bit about the member on the different titles and status that they hold within the club, and how to QSL with that member if they want to. The nice thing about our club is that we don't require paper cards. We have awards managers who will verify the members checked into the nets. It's kind of on an honor system. So that's a little bit what that looks like. You'll see some color coding on there. The pink line where it is right now, that's actually the station that is currently working their turn on that net. Anybody that's in orange, they are helping to facilitate that net. So they're acting as a relay station for the net control station. Anybody in gray has checked out of that net. Anybody that is green did not respond to the net control when it was their turn. The purple, they have some co-loggers going on and some people helping facilitate that net to keep that net running. On 40 meters, those are our busy nets, kind of move pretty fast. Normally, the 40 meter nets, maybe you'll get 1 call per person on the net. for yourself, but you can get a call at any time. But the 40-meter nets usually run check-ins between 80 and 120 check-ins per night. And they run that list probably in about 2.5 to 3 hours, is about the a little bit slower pace nets are during the day, the 20-meter net, the 80-meter net. They are a little bit slower where it's easier to catch on. And then also to work extra people. They usually give more than one call on the smaller list. And then there's a button up on the top, Dave, if you would see where it says aim window. The aim window up on the top, I was just going to note that when you see the aim window up on the top in the middle, it's in one of the blue boxes right smack in the middle. It says aim window.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Yep. When you click that window open, it actually opens up and you will have a chat center. And that's where people chat back and forth on the net. And then this is also a logging software program. So you could actually click on a station and hit enter, and it will drop down into the very bottom of the screen, and it'll start storing your contact information. And you can also use this program as a logbook. So a lot of people will use that. You can record your signal reports back and forth and note whether or not you've QSL'd with that member. Then you're able to filter out members because there's a call sign filter, remarks filter, net filter, operator filter, so that you can see if you've worked those members before for your awards. This program also has the ability to be able to convert your login to an ADIF and upload to QRZ, the ARL logbook of the world, whichever your preferences are, your EQSL. And so you can use this program in lots and lots of different ways.
Does anyone have a question for Carrie at this point?
Dave, I have a quick question.
Please.
I see an SSB column on that, Carrie. I know you're a single sideband enterprise. How do you know if the contact's upper or lower? Does it, in your case, why doesn't it seem to matter? Upper or lower sideband?
To be honest with you, we just run on single sideband. So as long as it's voice contact, whether you're on, no matter which band you're on, as long as it's voice contact, that's how we record. We just don't do CW or anything like that. We do have a digital portion of our group where people we have some links set up on our homepage where if you're a digital operator, you could log into those and chat with other O.M.I.S. members, not during a net or during a net, but just it's not actual. We're not actually running it. Did that answer your question?
Not exactly, but I'll take this up with Dave or some of the other members. I mean, I was under the impression that there is an upper and a lower sideband on either side of the carrier frequency, and you have to pick one or the other.
No,
Dave?
Matthew, yeah, that's a good question. But there's by convention, 40 meter, for instance, is lower sideband. You know, I gotta get this straight. 40 meters, 40 meters is okay. Is all right.
It's upper sideband.
Upper sideband.
Yes.
Okay. So there's
Okay.
a convention, so you kind of know where you're looking.
Okay. I see. Okay, so there's a convention on for each band. All right, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're, if you get your general license, it's one of the things you find out is where you are, upper or lower on these things. So that's otherwise a good question for.
And I was just going to answer and follow that up with to make reference. This is a general class and above amateur radio group, so you have to have a general class license in order to participate. So all of our net frequencies are set in the general band. We have talked about exploring on 10 meters and opening up the opportunity to have technicians be able to check in and join. However, that proves to be a little bit difficult when you're trying to balance out and making sure people stay in their appropriate frequencies, because it would be very difficult to have a member join and we wouldn't really have a way to filter them out on all the other net frequencies that we have because they're all in the general band. And I would say, I think the only other unique thing about our organization is we do have a scholarship as well. So there's something that we started a couple of years ago was we did a scholarship with the ARL. And so we have an O.M. International Sideband Society scholarship for kids or adults that are going back to school with preference, as long as it's a STEM major with preference to O.M.I.S. members, they get first opportunity at the $1,000 a year scholarship. And if they win, they get the opportunity all 4 years in a row, actually, to be able to receive that scholarship if they are going to school for a STEM major, to try to encourage our youth to continue our hobby. As we all know that we need young people continuing in amateur radio, so it doesn't ever fall under the wayside. So that's something we started a few years ago.
So far, so good, Carrie. Now, Carrie, we didn't talk about this, so you can tell me it's a bad idea, but I've tuned to the Half Moon Bay SDR, and I've got the frequency 7185 in there. I think we should be able to hear your net right now, right?
You should be able to, yes.
So I might put it through. Do you think I should put it through so they can hear it?
You could if you'd like to.
Let me try that, and give everyone a chance to hear how it's working, and then we'll come back to it. But let me just try this. It may be a disaster, but let's try this. All right. And we had the nice folks from Half Moon Bay come one evening and tell us about the SDR. And now I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. So if you can see this, you can find the O.M.I.S. network is right here. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's where they are, okay? And one of the things about this is that you don't always hear, through your radio, what's going on. I mean, that's fair to say, right, Carrie?
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to go to an SDR so you get both ends of the conversation. You can either hear it, I'll listen to my radio and I'll watch this so I can pick it up off of an SDR if I can't hear it locally. So I'm gonna put the volume up and hopefully this will work. It'll sound really awful, but we'll see what goes.
Thrilled to get it. Thanks very much, Bill. November 7th, Zebra Stripe. All right, appreciate the content. 840, we're back to net with one good. All right, Bill, I got you back to net, line 37, Kilo Delta 8, Sierra Alpha Victor, Gary in Ohio, you're up. One call.
Now, he likely isn't able to hear Gary, so he's probably going to have a relay give Gary his turn.
Okay, so Carrie, explain what you think is going on there.
What he's doing is they just had a contact that worked that was good. They were able to confirm both call signs and the signal report on both ends. And then once that call came back to net, then they moved on to the next call, and that's Gary in Ohio. He's probably running QRP. Gary's got usually runs about 50 to 100 watts. He's a little bit harder to hear where he's located at. So he's taking his turn right now. And then when he's complete, he'll go back to net control, and then they'll move to the next person on the list. The net control holds the net and keeps the net in place and keeps it running smoothly so that it isn't taken control by just anybody checked into the net. And it's also super important for the net control station to make sure that he has relays, because of course you can't hear everybody. Nobody has the station awesome enough that they can hear everybody from every location in the country. So they're good. Well, there's a few people that think they do. They don't. So propagation doesn't work that way. And so he's got a few people based around the country that are going to help him get those calls facilitated. And then that way nobody hijacks the net and people just don't get carried away doing their own thing.
So anyway, I think it's fascinating. It's like, it's all times of the day. You can find this and you can test your radios and you can test your skills. And it's a fascinating tool, particularly if you're thinking of becoming a general or better, and you want to find out how you break into this. How do you start? They'll kind of like, is it fair to say, hold your hand?
No, that's very contact? That's very fair to say. The nice thing about this organization, when I upgraded to general, and my dad said, "Oh, you got to check into this group." He came rushing to my house and got to check into this group and get in here, and you'll get your worked all states in no time. He wasn't kidding. I had my worked all states in less than a week on 20 meters. So very quickly you can move around if you're trying to make that happen. Now, of course, Alaska and Hawaii are going to be a little bit more of a challenge for certain times of the year to get them, but we have some really faithful members that come in to do that for us as well. But it really is a great place to be able to jump in and be taught how to make those contacts and verify that information on air, exchanging signal reports, learn some manners on how to be a good amateur radio operator. It's a nice group of people to help hold your hand and get you moving in that direction when you're on that. To be fair, I know I'm the president of just this organization, but we're not the only ones. I would speak very highly of North American Traffic and Awards Net. They're just prior to the O.M.I.S.S Net, the 3905 Century Club Net, also a great organization, very similar. With them, if you dip your toes with 3905, they are a QSL card organization where if you make a contact with someone on those nets, you have to use a QSL card to verify those contacts because they're required for their awards. And so there's a lot of people working for that. The WILE system on 14.332, also a great organization when you're getting your toes wet in HF, getting ready to run, get in there and learn people and learn how to do it, make those signal reports, and also reach people across the country and get your work to all states in a great way. So there's a lot of good groups out there, and I invite you all to get an opportunity to check them out. Shameless plug, our website, if you ever want to watch it and check it out, is www.omiss.net. It's OM International Sideband Society Net. The website has tons of great information on it. You can always contact us at any time. If you wanted to ask me any personal questions on the side, you're welcome to email me. My call sign is Kilowatt 9 Foxtrot Zulu. I took my dad's call sign. He unfortunately passed away a couple years ago, and I upgraded to my extra class so that I could have his call sign. So you're able to reach me. I'm good on QRZ. I totally welcome the phone calls or the emails anytime. And again, that is the homepage of our website. If you see the on the air button up there, that on the air button will tell you what nets are on the air at any given time during the day. Our net schedule is listed right there on the front, the times and frequencies that our net is held on. They are plus or minus 7 kcs from each one of those frequencies. We do our best to stay as close to it as possible so that we don't lose our place. We have a forum button that's under Stay Connected. We have a Facebook page. And so there's lots of great things on that website. And I invite you all to check it out.
Anyone else have any other questions? I think it's fascinating. Once again, I totally endorse networks like this. If you want to get into HF, as I say, dip your feet into the water. It's a good place to start. I want to thank Carrie for stopping in tonight. She had a long day yesterday. Did they win or lose?
We lost.
Oh, sorry about
We
that.
lost, but you can't win them all.
Yeah, we lost one too. So anyway,
We lost.
Once again, I want to thank Carrie for coming tonight. We've learned a little bit about the O.M.I.S.S network. So Carrie,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Daniel, I hope I get to see you at Dayton again. I know I will be there for sure for the next 2 years, but after that, it might be a little while, then I'll be visiting. So this is my last term as club president. So I will serve 2 more years and then I'm going to pass the torch to somebody else, but it's been a pleasure. Daniel and I got to meet in person at Dayton a few years ago when he was there traveling and I was there hosting our booth. So if you do make it to Dayton, Ohio, come look up the O.M.I.S.S booth. I will be happily visiting with all the guests there. It'd be nice to meet you in person. Dave?
Carrie, I'm definitely looking forward to our meeting. Also, Carrie, you forgot one thing. O.M.I.S.S has a mail for you, just like AWL. Forgot about that.
Yes, we do. We have. Did you say the QSL Bureau, Daniel?
No, the mail for like in K6DLC at omiss.net.
Yes, we do have our email list. Yep. So you can have your own email. So mine is K9FZ@omiss.net. And we have some email communication chains that you can sign up for and receive updated information regarding the things that are going on within our society. as well as a QSL bureau. So we have a QSL bureau available to our membership where you can put envelopes on file and exchange cards at a reduced rate, just your own stamp, really, instead of paying for each individual card to be QSL. So we have a lot of great options there. And Daniel, I do look forward to seeing you again, hopefully in the next year or two.
I look
Any
forward
other-
to it, Carrie. Take care. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks. You're welcome. Do you have any other questions?
Questions? Last chance. Janet.
Janet?
Yeah, Carrie, I was just wondering if you're familiar with YLRL and if you're possibly a member.
I am very familiar with the YLRL, and I am a member of YLRL. I have been for several years. Yes, yep, I've been a member of the Quarter Century Club as well. I've been a ham since I was 15 years old. So I was originally licensed in the state of Hawaii with my dad. He was out serving there. When I went to California, actually my trip to California, we didn't make it to San Francisco. We had to drive our little Toyota Corolla crammed full of whatever we could keep with us across the country to put it on a boat and ship it out to Hawaii. So that's why we had to go to LA. And so that's why we were in California, but it was a great time. And my aunt used to live in Long Beach. So I've spent a little time there, but not too much. Military family, that was not where we were stationed. So very beautiful state though, and hopefully I'll get a chance to get back there and visit again someday. So my aunt is in Victorville, so I don't know how far that is from all of you, but she's moved from Long Beach to Victorville. So someday I'll go out and get a chance to visit her. But I do appreciate you asking me to join you this evening, and I don't want to take up any more of your time. You've got other things to do this evening, but thank you for asking me to be here.
As you probably do too. So
Well-
once again, Carrie, thank you for giving us some time.
Yeah.
I found it informative, and I hope everyone else did. And maybe some of these folks who either get their general licenses or just got their general licenses are going to find the O.M.I.S.S network or similar networks and give it a try. Enjoy
That'd
it, Jeff.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you very much. And I will say good evening.
Good
Thank
night.
you,
Thank
Carrie.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.